Shalom. So I have an announcement today, which I guess it's already kind of out of the bag if you saw the thumbnail. But I am so excited because Herbal Holistic Healing is finally here. The final copy. No more of that line going through it. And it's beautiful. I love it. And I'm so excited for all of you guys to get your hands on it. So I wanted to come and chat with you all. It officially releases on like other platforms like Amazon on the 1st of February. But for all those who pre-ordered, I'm already shipping them out. I'm going to ship out a batch today, and we're going to be shipping them out each week because we actually sold out of the first shipment. So we have people that are waiting for batch number 2. And those who order like right now today can get on batch number 3. And that'll still, the way it's lining up, you'll still probably get it, have it in your hands a day of, if not before. So I'm really excited about it. So let's talk about the book, all the process and all of that. And I want to answer some of you guys' questions and give you guys some updates about just even the channel and all of that. Always have to check to make sure everything is good first. So please excuse this. But yeah, so I have here the physical copy, Herbal Holistic Healing. You guys can see how thick this is. It is so thick, and I thought I was going to be able to ship this like priority mail, but it is just way too thick. So it's actually going to be shipping through medium first class box. It's just so huge. And then we also am announcing, I haven't talked about it as much, but we actually have a workbook to go with it. So this is a workbook, and the workbook's about 100 pages. This Herbal Holistic Healing is 514 pages, and it is in color. So you guys can imagine just the printing cost, all of that. But I'm going to show you guys a little bit inside of it too, because I know that you guys, you've been hearing me talk about it, so I know that you're excited too. But this is the workbook as well. So I'll be talking about both of these. And I always try to, and I've been talking about it for months. So if you got it way in the beginning, you save so much money on it. And if you go back and look at the price, you can just see how the price has gone, and it's going to go up. I always, whenever I come up with something, I always try to put it as cheap as possible. So for the people who really want to save money, they can get it early. I gave bonuses as well with it. And then I wanted people to be able to afford it. But I knew that how much work went into this, I knew when I made this book this long, I knew it was going to be expensive. I guess I should kind of, I wonder if I can prop them up. I knew when it was 500 pages that it was going to be expensive as well. So, and because it's in color, I didn't want a black and white book. And I mean, black and white is okay, but for people who are trying to learn about the herbs and really get familiar with them, and with teaching the African holistic, it's too big. From teaching the African holistic standpoint, you really need to have color to be able to see and experience the herbs. So the color is important. So I knew it was going to be very expensive. And then I didn't even imagine that it was going to cost this much to ship it as well, because it is really thick. But yeah, I have a couple people here. Shiva Ya, Shalom. Thank you for joining. And it is almost Shabbat. So I'm so glad to be speaking with all of you. And I hope that you have a wonderful Shabbat in advance. All praise to the Most High. Yeah. And, you know, I'm so grateful, not just for all the people who have helped me, all the people who have supported anything, even if it's not with this book, just support it in any way. I'm so grateful for all of you, because I had to thank so many people. There's so many people that really are what made this project come to life. But of course, you have to thank the Most High. I have to thank the Most High, because he's the one who, bequeathed or, gave this knowledge to me that I'm just borrowing and to share with others. And so he gets the glory, the honor, and the praise. I was actually looking through the category because I was trying to figure out if I want to move categories or not. But in the herbal remedies category, they have like the best sellers and all that. So I looked at the best sellers, and the top best sellers, the top 5, there were 2 books with the word witch in it. And I was like, I really feel like people don't want to hear, any kind of biblical aligned kind of anything anymore. There's this, and I'm going on a tangent, and I do this sometimes, but so I have my book Everyday Herbs in 2 local stores. One of them was a Black bookstore, and they actually closed this month. And they were having a closing sale, and I thought, maybe I should go, but I didn't really like, the idea of profiting out of someone's misfortune, I guess you would say. But yeah, they closed down, and they were the only one. They were actually like in the news talked about them for being the only Black owned bookstore that we had. And so it's really sad because now we don't have one. And this is Memphis. I mean, we should have one, but so it's just so sad. But we have to support the things that we want to see. So many times we say we need these things. And even when I was making this book, I'm like, we need it. And why didn't we have it? And so we really have to support, and I'm glad that I at least bought some things. Me and my mom we bought some things and we supported. But I just think about if I would have just said, I'll support later. There's probably a lot of people who said I'll support later or I'll buy something later. And now they're out of business. So it's really sad and unfortunate. But I am really grateful to the Most High for allowing this project to come to fruition. It was harder than I thought. And because I published other books, I kind of thought, I knew how it was going to go, but it was pretty difficult. But I'm so grateful that it's here. I want to join your class to be an herbalist. Please pray. Okay. Yes. Oh, I think you have reached out to me, but yes, definitely. I'll add you to the prayer list. And I pray for all the people, that I come into contact with, that one could be a blessing, but that your lives are blessed in some way. So yes, I will. I got to get your book. Yes. So I sent the first, I'm shipping the first pre-orders out. I'm doing it today before sundown, so I won't be working. So yeah, I'm just so grateful. I can't wait. And it's because it's shipping priority. You might get it in, 3 days or so. So you might get it on Wednesday. Salah. Thank you for joining. Yes, your book is already packaged. Actually, I already put yours at the post office because you've been waiting for so long with your workbook in there. So I'm so grateful. I definitely know what you mean. The Most High will make a way. I'm a living witness. I was just in a financial hole and the Most High made a way. Keep praying and fasting. Yes, it's so important. And I hope that, everybody who's watching this, the things that you want to do to be able to find a way, and it's always when we want something so bad. And then when it actually happens, it's just like, it's a testimony. And so just even with this book, it's that for me. I remember I was working on it, and then it just became, I thought it was going to be, 300 something pages or whatever. And then it became 500 pages. And it's just like, he gave me the words to say. And so it's just such a blessing. And, he has so much higher, there's so much more. And we just be stuck in what we could see. And so it's just so amazing because I was like, if I publish this book, what comes next? And I'm 29, so I'm going to be 30 in April. And I said, if I publish this book at 30, then what do I do at 40? And so it's just like, he gave me a blessing, and I was already getting so scared about it. And so it's just amazing. And I think we keep ourselves in a box. And so he has so much more for us, but we have to, and I pray all the time that I see myself as he sees me and the potential and stuff that he sees, because, I wouldn't have the foresight for it. And I didn't mean to go on such a tangent on that, but yes, but I pray for all of you. And I thank all of you so much, everyone who's watching, whether you type in or not, for all of your support. It really means, the world to me. And, you guys are really why I do it and why I keep going. So when I want to talk a little bit about how the book came, I did it a little bit, but I actually was making it, for the course that I have, the Holistic Herbalist course. And actually February 1st is when this book comes out officially. So like if you get it on Amazon, that's when it's going to come. But if you get the ebook version, or if you have the paperback, I'm going to be sending it to you early, as long as you get in the window. So if you purchase the ebook, so for those who can't afford the book, I did talk about the pricing, but I'll talk about it a little bit later. But for those who can't afford like the physical book, if you get the ebook, you'll also get, as soon as you purchase it, you'll get it. So we have it available as well. Hallelujah. I'm grateful for the testimonials. Let's praise him in advance. And I'm so excited for you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's how it started. But then it's so funny because there's so much, like I said, like Yah has plans for you and you can't see it. And so I had instantly wanted to, I was like, okay, I want to have other herbalists share some knowledge and whatnot about some of the herbs because, those are like their favorite plants. And that would have been a great thing. And that would have been a great book too. But then people kind of talked to me a little bit, and I had to realize that I'm always wanting to do things with others as if I'm scared of doing something like on my own. Like if I think that I'm not able to do it or whatever. And he's like, no, I need you to do it. And I need you to lean more into it. And so there was times when I'm writing things and I'm crying, and he was just really using my life to write in it. So it became, more than just a teaching, and you get a lot of that from all the other books, just teaching or just education, which is important. And it's that. But then you also have the parts where you got to change your mentality or change your thinking and really, really kind of transform your whole life. And so that's kind of, it's really holistic. And he really put the holistic in there, the emotional, the spiritual. It was going through all of that. And even like I was talking about earlier, there's so many times when I wanted to stop as well, or when I doubted as well, because I talked about that bookstore, one of the bookstores that we had it in locally that closed, and it was the only Black-owned bookstore here in Memphis. Now it's gone, but there was this other store, and it was called I can't think of it, and I shouldn't say the name because I don't want to put a store on the spot, but it was something like it was African centered consciousness or whatever. And so I knew when I reached out to them and shared my book with them, that when they look through it, they're going to see scriptures and they're not going to say that's consciousness. I knew it. But, even things like that, it's just so hurtful to think that people don't want this book with the wisdom of the Most High, but that's where it comes from. And so that's another reason why I think it's so important, because we get, so like the Bible says, worshiping creation instead of the creator. And that's kind of like what a lot of people are doing. I don't want to say what I'm doing or what we are doing that are watching, but what so many people do nowadays. So it's like, do people even want this, or will people even appreciate it? But I had to just be the other thing about having other herbalists in there, and why he was like, don't do it that way, is because I want everything that I say in here to be for me. And it's, other people might not agree with it. And the way that I say things, I don't sugarcoat. I always go 100% in on it. And so that's what he wanted me to do, and so I'm just grateful for the way that it came out. And, how I even tried to block the blessings or block the book, or trying to impose my own will on it. And he was like, no. Greed is new here. Where can I order your book? So one of your YouTube videos. Oh, welcome. Shalom. So you can actually get the book on my website, which is herhealthyhome.co. And actually, I should have had my little banner, and I don't have my little music. So thank you for saying that. It's now on the screen, so you can actually see it. Let me put my little music on in the background. I was just so excited to hop on here today and share this with you. The book was actually supposed to get here today, but it came yesterday, and I was waiting for it. It came like at 10 p.m. and I was just ready for it, opened it right up, and I'm so happy about it. But yeah, you can purchase it there. And you could also get my books on Amazon. So I actually have links down in the description. So like if you have where you can have YouTube in the background, you can actually go click on, check it out. I have the ebook. So I'm talking about this book, but I do have others. And actually, you guys, I would say this is my 7th book. So this is 7 is the completion. So yes, he really was showing me all throughout it. So this is the book, Herbal Holistic Healing. You can get this paperback. You can also get the ebook on there as well. And then I have over here, it's kind of blocked now. I'll take this banner off for a little bit. But you can get the workbook to go with it too. So for those who don't want to go through a course or you can't afford a course or whatever, this is for self-study. That's what I really wanted it to be for. And I think that I feel like it's not just because I wrote it or, anything like that, but I feel like this should be in every home. So the whole family, no matter what you're going through, you can come to this book and, self-diagnose and find out more about what's going on, and then find out what you can use as well. So that's what I want to go into too. Who this book is for. I really, and I always think my own vision, like I said and explained earlier, but the vision is different and change. And the people that he leads, may be different. And so where I always think of from being a mom of, two Tylers, I always think of, moms that are trying to, or, like even grandma, the person who's over like the family's health, and they come to you, something's wrong. What can I take or whatever, for that person to be that, that go-to person for their community, for their home, and then their community too. I'm glad that you were able to finish. That's a great accomplishment. Thank you. And we didn't win. And we have had, like I said, I've done other books. I don't have Everyday Herbs here. But some others, I've made other books, but it's just like a new challenge. And I told my mom, because like I said, we all make plans and we all make your own plans. But I felt like, I thought more people would have supported, and the people who are supposed to support are going to be the ones who should support, or that are going to support. But, I talked to Ya, and I'm frustrated. And I'm like, I just want to give up, because you don't know how many hours, not even just me, my family has spent on this book of just one thing, going wrong after the other. And I felt like, I should just give up. And so, but yeah, it's here. So that's why I have to thank so many people, especially my mom. She stayed up so many late nights where she's sending it back to me at 2. We both work so much on it. So, and she helped proof it and everything like that. Both me and her, I feel like we're tired of reading this book, of working on this book, because of how long we've done it. Like, we just want it to be finished. We hope nothing, we said, we hope nothing else is wrong or nothing else needs to be fixed. And we had to keep going back and back and back. So we're just like, we're ready to be done with it. So we're just so glad. Even my stepfather also helped on proofing the book. So we just had so many hands on it. So it's just amazing. All right. So if you have the book, I want to tell you more about how to actually use it. So I know that there's all different people that maybe know nothing about herbs or know a lot about herbs. And so I wanted to, no matter who uses this book, that they'll be able to find the information that they're looking for. So when you first are looking in this book, most people will probably try to pick it up and want to find out about something that they're going through, like some kind of sickness, illness, whatever. So there's several different ways to find the information in here, because I wanted to make sure everybody will find it. Okay, so we have the table of contents, of course, in there, and we do have sections on each of the body systems. So I know that everybody might not know the terms. Like, so for the nervous system, it's the brain, it's the nerves, it's the spinal cord, but somebody might not know that. So you'll be able to find it in different ways, but that's just one of the ways you can find it. So you can, of course, go to the table of contents. So what we have also in the front, I have a quick reference. So for the people who are just wanting the quick herbs, like what herb to use for that, we have a section right in the front. So let me go ahead and show you guys what it looked like. I spent about a page on each of the systems, and there's more in depth in the back of the book. But for those who are just looking for something quick, I have it. So let me go I'm trying to get to the beginning of it. So it's a section in here. Now, of course, I never just say, just pick an herb from a list, right? You need to know more about what's going on. But there's always people that are just going to want to look really quickly. So here's a sample here. And then my lighting always gets fast books. But so here's sections here. So what's this one? Respiratory system, nervous system. So you can see it talks about, what it is really quickly. And it talks about the different herbs that are beneficial for the system and why. So it explains why, which is really important. And then it tells you different herbs about them. So now when you go through this and you say, oh, I have this herb, or I'm interested in this herb, then you can go on the reference and find that too. So this is just one of the ways to find it. Another way, if you're trying to look for certain illnesses, you can also check out in the back of the book. We have an index. So the index has all of the different herbs in here. And I'm doing it backwards. So it's quite a bit that we have. And I do have pictures of inside the book as well, if you check it out on the website. So we have the index, so you can look up each of the herbs that are in there. You can also look up certain illnesses and certain terms like that. And I just put like the most popular terms that you might have. So like, in here for N, nutmeg, ointment, okra, onion, orange, oregano, Oregon grape, pancreas, parsley, passion flower, Podiarco, that's an herb, PCOS, peach leaf, peony, peppercorns, which is, like black pepper, peppermint, plantain, potato is also in here too, pregnancy, progesterone, prostate, pumpkin seed, puncture vine, quassia, that's an herb. So that's kind of how the index works. So you'll be able to find them. All right. So that's one of the second ways, or is that the third way that you can find some of them? Then you can also go to the individual chapters that we have on each of them. So let me get to that. All right, let's see. So the first one that we have in here is the cardiovascular system. So I'm going to show you guys how it looks. So this is a section about the different organs. And it does look a little bit brighter on the camera. So I talk about the common disorders, and I also go into blood pressure. So the blood pressure level. So you'll know what the normal levels look like, what the elevated looks like, stage 1, stage 2, and when you should be on alert. I talk about sickle cell anemia pretty quickly. I talk about the different herbs that are useful here. And so what I do is I go by different categories of herbs, which are called the herbal actions. So I go by actions, but then I also go by the herbs. And the reason, yes, of course, anything for the thyroid. Yes, I have the thyroid and I have the endocrine system. I have chapters on those. Yes, I do. Then I also have on here the herbs, and I list them. So we break down even more than the category. So we have the heart tonics, the ones that are strengthening. We have ones that are circulatory stimulants, so they're going to stimulate circulation. We have vein tonics as well. We have anticoagulants, so helping to reduce blood clotting. So we really break it down. And this is several pages, and I'm still on the herbs for the heart, right? Then I also have herbs that are sources of iron, because iron is really beneficial. Then I have the diet, the best fruits and vegetables, the worst foods for the health as well. And then I have recipes. So I have tinctures here. I have infusions, which are just like your teas, but they're technically herbal infusions. And then I also have capsules as well. And I have diagrams in here as well. So that was just for the heart. But yeah, I do have herbs for it. Let me tell you all the categories that I have. You said you're excited. Thank you. Thank you. Where's the link for the book? You can get it in the description, or you can go to my website. It is herhealthyhome.co. So actually the price is cheaper on my website. And I'm letting people know that the book is actually going to go up in price. So it comes out on February 1st. On February 2nd, I've given a lot of time. It's been months that I've been talking about it. So I'm going to go up to the final price. And it will be cheaper on my website. Why? Because Amazon takes so much percentage of my book. I actually they take 70%, plus 70% for the ebook. Okay, so I only get 30% for the ebook. And then was it 40% or so on the paperback? So I do encourage people to get it from me if you can. And I also have the price cheaper too, to encourage people, because I know still sometimes people prefer to get it through Amazon. So I do have an ebook of this as well. If you purchase the ebook, you'll actually get it instantly. The price is going up on the ebook too. And I'm shipping these out. So if you purchase it, you should get it by February 1st. If not that week or earlier. So it depends on when you get it, because we're shipping them out in batches. Okay, hope I didn't miss anything. So yeah, I'm going to go through because I don't want to forget anything, but I will come back and read the questions. So the sections that I have, if I went through the table of contents itself, is several pages. So I won't go through everything, but I think it's 5 pages of table of contents. Yeah, it's 5 different pages. So it's about 4.5. All right, but the different sections that I have on the body parts and the systems are herbs for the cardiovascular system. So that has to do with the heart. Herbs for the nervous system. That was the nerves, the brain, the spinal cord, the brain. Then we have musculoskeletal system. So that's our muscles and our bones. And also in there, I put information about pain. So whenever I talk about something, I don't just say these are herbs for pain. So I'll go to the musculoskeletal system to give you guys an example, but I break it down by where is the pain. So is it in the back? Is it in the stomach? And I go through all of that. Is it nerve pain, etc. So I really make sure you can pick the best herbs and you can know why also as well. So it's not just teaching you to fish. I mean, it's not, well, teaching you to fish is good. It's not just giving you a fish, right? So it's teaching you to fish. Also, I have herbs for the liver and gallbladder, herbs for the urinary system. So that's with the bladder, herbs for the kidneys, herbs for the men's reproductive system. So for our men, and then the woman's reproductive system, the reproductive organs, then herbs for the stomach. We have herbs for the pancreas and the spleen, herbs for the colon, herbs for the endocrine system, herbs for the thyroid, and for the lymphatic system. And then we also have a section, herbs for the skin. So internally and externally, what you want to put on your skin. And, because this is a book tailored for us, I know some of our skin issues. So I make sure you can check. We have several times when I mention herbs for things like eczema, asthma, which really is, affects us at a higher rate. I'm trying to talk too fast. I need to slow down. And then the last one was the virus proofing your health. So that is for the immune system. So it tells you, I break it down in 3 different categories when you want to use each different type of herbs, what's happening. So stage 1, stage 2 to stage 3, what you want to use, who doesn't want to use, or when you don't want to use these herbs as well. Okay. Oh my, what a scam. Is that a typo? I'm purchasing today. I just bought one of your books the other weekend. It was a worthy purchase. Thank you. Which book did you purchase? Do let me know. If any of you guys have actually purchased this book, let me know in the comments as well. And then I also have a section on fevers too. All right. So I want to talk about the pain that I was talking about really quickly. So skeletal system. And this is the liver, gallbladder. Some sections that I have are really kind of long. So for the liver, it's long. For the kidneys, it's long. There's a lot to talk about when it comes to the liver. So I talk about the common diseases and disorders. I do that for all of them. I meant so. Hey, Marissa. I don't think I said hello. I hope I said hello to everybody. Hey, G Mama. I'm just going so fast. So yeah, I talk about alcohol and drug use and how it affects the liver as well. So alcoholism. And I do mention there's herbs for pretty much anything you can think about, which is really so wonderful because it shows that we have a creator, right? Because how would you know there wasn't a problem with some things and later on they became an issue, like they're newer within the last 100 years, but there's herbs that still can be beneficial for that. So it's like you had to have foresight when you're creating these herbs. They didn't just pop up. You wouldn't know everything that we need now and in the future. So it's just so amazing. But even herbs for addiction, withdrawal, all of that. There's all these different herbs in here. So the herbs for the liver, I talk about liver tonics. I talk about the different tastes that are beneficial for the liver, the different colors as well. But you'll learn that because that's all in the African herbalism section. So you'll learn going back to our roots and the way that we practice or our ancestors practice herbalism, because what we practice today looks very different. And so we kind of got to go back to Eden. And so that's what I'm hoping to do. Hey, Princess Samar, thank you for joining. And I talk about alternative herbs. So those are blood cleansing herbs, and our liver has to do so much with cleansing. So it's really important. And then herbs that are nutritive as well, which are really beneficial. I also break down the functions of each of these systems so you understand the importance. So the importance of the liver, of course, the list is very long. But we talk about that as well. Also talk about where it is in the body as well, which I think is important because, for the average person, they wouldn't know where, where your spleen is, where your pancreas is, where the gallbladder is, where your liver is, a lot of times you say, where's your stomach? And people always come down, to your abdomen. So it's important to know where everything is as well. So it's just a relearning of your body, of nature, of herbs, and the creator, and seeing his perfect design in the way that he made us and everything around us. So that's really what I want to what this book is and what it's sharing. And then also I do have a section on African American herbalism. So basically taking that African herbalism in a new environment and our history and legacy and stuff. I think it's really important to have the African perspective and then have our African American, perspective as well. And I also have herbs that are native to Africa that I'm introducing to as well. So I'm going to go through the herbs that are actually listed in here. So I have a list of 100 plus herbs that are African origin. So I'm gonna go through that. So I'm gonna write that down to let you guys know what are some of the plants that you might be using that are actually native to Africa as well. And then I want to go through the herbs in each of the sections. So I'm still on the liver. Appetizer. So herbs that when people just don't want to eat, especially to stimulate the appetite, digestive herbs as well. I talk about different categories of laxatives. So that's what I really want to show people, because a lot of times people may say, I need a diuretic or I need a laxative, but you have to understand what's going on so then you can understand what types of laxatives you want to use. And then from the type of laxatives is which ones are used more often or which one you just use every now and then. I'm excited to get this information. Thank you. Need herbs for weight loss. I talk about that as well. And for the hair, yes. So pretty much the herbs for the skin does encompass skin and hair health, because basically that's what the hair is. It's like an extension of our skin. I do have also my book Recipes from the Earth, and this is actually a real cheap book. It's only $12.99 for the paperback, and then it's $8 for the ebook. So all my books are on the site as well. And I do actually have bundles, so you can get multiple books. I have a bundle of Herbal Holistic Healing, my book Everyday Herbs. That's a lot of recipes for teas and all of those things for internally and some external, like salve, ointment. And I did that. And I also have some recipes from 3 other women as well. 3 other moms, 3 other herbalists. So it's really recipes that you'll use every day, not the, nice recipes when you see them, but you need like 5, 6 different foreign ingredients. No, these are the backyard herbs. These are the ones in your kitchen and you're making really delicious medicines with them. But Recipes from the Earth, this is all recipes for the face, body, and hair. So I used to, and I still do, sell some homemade products, not as many. I don't sell as many anymore, but the recipes are in here, so you can check them out. This is my deodorant is in here. That's like my most viewed video. I have 2 different deodorants in here. I have body butter, lip balm. I have 2 or 3 different shampoos. I have for men. I have an aftershave. I have foot powder, like for people who use foot powder. So some things were kind of like modeled after what my husband may have needed or the men in my family may have needed. So yeah, definitely check that out. I got face cream. I have facial toners. I have facial cleansers. I have oils in here. So yeah, check it out. And it's cheap too. And then also I have my perfume book as well. And that one's in a bundle too. This is Good Smell. So it's perfume and diffuser blends. Okay. And that one's $12.99 too. Those are pretty cheap. Which book is this? It's blurry. I'm sorry. So I was talking about this one. This is Recipes from the Earth. And that's the one with the lip balm, my deodorant. I have a clay deodorant. So one with clay, and then my regular deodorant, leave-in conditioner. I have an eczema psoriasis cream. I have shampoos. And these are, like I said, recipes from the earth. It's not going to be something where you're going to have to put on any special equipment or anything like that. Like one of my shampoos is made with actual cucumbers. I have some that's made with coconut milk. And that's what the ingredients are like. Coconut milk, aloe vera, like things like that. So it's 100% natural. Okay. And a lot of my products also, or a lot of my things in here, my recipes in here are things that are not scented as well, because I wanted people with sensitive skin and all that to be able to use it as well. So we use natural, like even for colors, of some of my things. Like I had a pink scrub in there, and we use beet juice. Like we don't use any dyes or anything like that. No chemicals. That's how I am. Plant based, real stuff. And then this is just essential oils and oil, or you can use essential oils and you can actually use some like vodka to make some perfumes, and then you just make your diffuser blends just with essential oils. So yeah, would you would you sell all your books in one bundle? So I do have a bundle. Yeah, I have a bundle with those two books, the Herbal Holistic Healing and my book Everyday Herbs, which I should have had down here, and I apologize that I don't. But that's my book with my tea recipes, so like the hot teas and also my sun teas. I have like an oil, a salve in there. I have salad dressing, have seasoning, and I'm trying to remember at the top of my head, and I can't. But most of that is more like taken internally, food that you eat every day. Like I have oxymelts in there. I have the herb infused oils, all those kind of things. So those 4 books I do have in a bundle. And actually I have one with 5 books. So I'm trying to remember if I had my journal in there. But yeah, I have a lot of books. But yeah, you can actually purchase them in a bundle. I have a bundle for the ebook versions and bundles for paperback. So yeah, just check it out. I'll put the link back up again. Yeah, so that's where you can get all of them. And I do give a little discount when it comes to a bundle. Now, if you did get the latest book, the Herbal Holistic Healing, make sure you can see it's all in the frame. If you did get like one of the versions, if you did get the paperback and you want to get the ebook and you want a discount on it, just shoot me an email. And I usually am pretty much on it on the live chats. All right, let me go back to the comments. I'm going to take my banner off so I could see comments. Okay. Blessings. Thank you, Stacy, for joining. How much is that book? I ordered the other book. Okay. I'm not sure. So these 2 books, they're $12.99 each for the paperback. If you get the ebook, they're $8. So this is Recipes from the Earth. So if you want the beauty care products, like for face, body, and hair, that's this one. And then I have this one. This is for making your own perfume and making your own diffuser blends. And this is that one. This one's $12.99, or $8 on the ebook. And then Everyday Herbs is not here. I really wish it was. I usually keep a book up there. I might just run and get it. I'll be right back. But yeah, keep leaving your comments. And if you have any questions, do put them in and I'll get to them. All right, I just ran and got this book. And also, for those who have purchased the books, if you purchase on Amazon, please do leave a review. All of that can be really helpful. I gotta catch my breath. I just ran upstairs. Okay, so this is the other one. It always looks so weird on camera. But this is Everyday Herbs. This is my recipes that I talked about. And I have other women in here as well that share their recipe. I want to show you guys. So these are the 3 women who actually shared a recipe. They each shared one. Actually, Madeline up here, she shared 2 recipes. But I'll try to show inside. So like I have facial toners in here. I have facial steams as well. This section back here was body, like on the skin. What else I have in here? This is my citrus dressing, my sore throat honey, my thyme onion honey. So like I told you guys, I made recipes using things that you can use in your kitchen. I made some oxymelts in here. So this actually has 3 different recipes on here. I have facial scrubs as well. There's sensitive skin facial scrubs. This is Madeline's recipe of violet syrup. And I have 3 different syrups that I share. My elderberry syrup. I have my immunition syrup, which I did a video on. I have a happy pregnancy one. I have a cycle regulator tea. It's really lots of recipes. This is a gentle push. It's lactative. mental clarity. Let's see, multivitamin. So this is more like a nutritive tea. My sunshine tea. And I have some cold teas as well, if you guys can see. Now, I did share a video for my Hawthorn fruit punch, which was my favorite until I kept making more for the book. So my favorite from this book is actually my pomegranate goji tonic. So it's just lots of different recipes. I have double boiler oil. So I have Face of Grace, Heal and Seal. So a healing oil. I have itch relief oil. This is a sweet almond body oil with roses. Another YouTuber, AA Home Gardening, she shared her Jamaican jerk sauce in here as well. Have a healing ointment, self-heal salve. Yeah, so this one is $24.99, and it's the same price on Amazon or on my website as well. And you can find this one in a bundle too. All right, beautiful pictures. Thank you, thank you. Which information is in my other book? Is it on the liver? I'm not sure how far back the comments went. But yeah, on the liver, no. So I did, so this is like 75 different, no, it's actually like 80 or something, but it's 75 plus different recipes or ways to tell you to make different recipes and herbs. So like for the tinctures, I tell you how to make them. So I didn't really count that as a recipe, but, or like teas, decoctions, syrups, and all of that. Those recipes come to at least 75 different new recipes. Are totally new. They're not from everyday herbs. I did share like 3 different everyday herbs, and that's just because the response that people have had. The funny thing was my mom, she keeps all of my books like on her coffee table. And so people are at her house, they look through my book and they're like, can you make that for me? And so from doing that, there's stories of different people that use these and they always want them more and more. So now as I get those stories, I've shared like my ammunition syrup again. And I talked about how it's used every day at a daycare for the children so that they don't get sick, you know, things like that. I added my most raved about recipes from there. And it's so funny because, you know, I love the syrup and everything, but it's not my favorite recipe. It's a great recipe, but it's not my favorite. But people have made favorites other than my own. So it's just so amazing how things work. You think this is a recipe that everyone's just going to love and it's going to be their favorite. And, you know, it turns out different. I appreciate this. Y'all showed me to eliminate my perfume. Yeah. And I love wearing perfume, but you can't find anyone that's clean, you know, and they're all artificial fragrances, you know. It was killing me. Wow. Well, thank you. I'm so glad, but wow. And, you know, I just talked to someone yesterday and your body will reject so many different things. It's like, this is foreign. I don't want this, you know? And so it's just crazy, you know, to think about. Sometimes people pass out from little things, like she said, just from wearing perfume. Your skin maybe get a rash or something. Your body definitely tells you when it doesn't like the artificial stuff. And that's why we need to go back to natural. And that the book I was talking about, Recipes from the Earth, the funny thing is when I first started making products, I talked about all of them come from fruits, nuts, vegetables, you know, like that, like all natural. And so I felt like, wow, at some point I felt like this is kind of limiting, but it really isn't, because it really forces you to be so much more creative. So like making teas and making recipes, like that's my passion. But there's some people when they cook and it's their passion, and like you can say, oh, this diet or something is limiting, and then people come out with so many great recipes. Like I've been buying so many different books on, you know, alkaline, or I actually bought recently a set of raw food cookbooks. And it's amazing the things that they can make, you know, just from the natural ingredients or just from this limited palette, but it really kind of opens you up so much more. So people limit herbs all the time. And so from this book, you can really see like, no, herbs are the real deal. Herbs are not the alternative. That's what, you know, modern medicine is the alternative. But like this, it just encompasses everything. I'm excited for you. I'll wait on my book. Much more success for you and your family. If you haven't gotten an email confirmation, you should be getting yours within the next week. So I'm really excited to be able to get all of them out, and I can't wait for you to read it. You guys, let me know once you get it. Like, definitely have a comment, or shoot me an email. Let me know what you think about it. I stumbled across your videos. Thank you, Ashley. I think you're new too, so thank you for joining. I didn't say hello, and hello to you, Hibiscus, too. I have been so excited to dive deeper into herbal studies and getting back to nature. Yes, yes. The other things that I did in here. Oh, and I'm getting them confused. My section on the kidneys, and I talked about it being large as well, because in there I talk about pH balance. So the kidneys, I talk about the functions and whatnot, and one of the functions is with the pH balance and everything. So we actually look at the pH of the different organs and things going on in the body, and the different excrements or secretions that the body makes. And so it's really interesting to see also where they fare. So it's just like everything in your body is just so calculated. Like, like how it says he knows every hair on our head, but like even down to a 7.3 pH, like he's really calculated and made everything to work so perfectly. But then you can also see how much room there is, or not, there's so little room that it is to get into an imbalance, if you get what I mean. Like, if you think about how our organs, if you've ever had like one of those dummies putting the organs in, just how close and compact everything is. There is, just even the digestive tube in there, how long it is, and it's bigger than we are. And so for everything to be kind of placed in there, delicately packaged up in the small frame. And so, like, yeah, so when an organ is stressed and now it's protruding or whatever, then you can have real issues because it's affecting everything else, because there's not much room. There's not that much room for error. So we really have to be cautious of the things that we do, because it really is so easy to get ourselves into imbalance. There's so many, backups and stuff that he's created to try to help us out, but there's still also a ceiling to how much that we can do, and do the wrong thing also as well when it comes to eating, diet, exercise, and all of that. I also have a section in here talk about the GFR. This is the filtration rate. So how you basically know, based on how your kidneys are filtering, is how well your kidneys are functioning. So I have that in there as well. So it's kind of like you're getting all this information on earth, but you're getting a lot of information on anatomy, which I don't think people focus on enough, on what's going on in your body as well, which is really important. So I try to put that all in here so that you don't have to be, a doctor to know something that's going wrong with you or whatever, or you don't have to be a master herbalist or whatever the term is, even though I don't like that term or whatever. I think it is a master herbalist or something like that. Nobody masters herbs. There's just infinite knowledge about herbs. But anyway, if a person calls himself that, you don't have to be one to be able to, find out what you need. So this is just for anybody, no matter where you are in your journey of how much herbal knowledge, or even about the body. You can be able to, just sit down, read, and figure out what it is that you need. So that's what I really want us to do. Hey, Christine. Hey, Indiana. Thank you for joining. Awesome. So many people here. I'm so glad. Thank you so much. So I said I was going to talk about the different herbs. I want to talk first about some of the African herbs, the herbs that have African origins that that people use, every day, or you may have heard of or been familiar with, but you didn't know that they were African, right? So I have a quick list in here, and I got to find it. Okay. And so there's much more herbs, but I'm a person, I don't know, I just like things to be uniform. So I didn't want to have like two lines on a page. So I just chose what I can fit in this page, but you can see there's lots of different herbs. So some of the herbs that you'll know definitely is okra or hibiscus. You probably know that those are African plants, but you may not know that henna also, we have African plants as well. Let's see some other ones that people might know. Oh, moringa, that's a popular plant. Also has African origins as well. Coffee, of course, we probably know coffee as well. But things like basil, and there's different varieties of basil that are indigenous to Africa. Also castor, so the castor oil. Somebody was just talking about that today to me. Castor oil, people probably don't know that as well. I'm trying to think of some other ones as well. Aloe, so there are different species or different types of aloe, of course, that come from Africa as well. There's even types of asparagus too. Also astragalus, there's a certain type or a certain variety of astragalus that comes from Africa too. So I don't want to go through all of them, but barley. So people may have eaten some barley this morning, and that's another African plant. Mullein, we talk about mullein a lot. That's a plant that's getting really popular. That's another one as well. And there's some that I've talked about all the time, like myrrh, frankincense, all of those, and a lot of the biblical herbs as well. You'll see that they do have African origins. Also elder. So there is different elders that are native to Africa as well. So when I say elder, I mean elderberries or elderflower. The plant is actually called elder. But yeah, let's see some other ones. Oh, you guys know, of course, I'm sure, about the watermelon. But yes, that is an African plant as well. And then you also have different species of mint. So like peppermint, that's another one that has African origins as well. So it's so amazing how we may be using these plants and we don't know the Africanness of the plants. And what I also did in here is because in the African culture, it's so the names are important. And we know that from the Bible, but also from even just African cultures as well. Put importance of the name. And so I put some of our indigenous names. So if you use these plants, when you're using them or whatever, you can refer to them by their name. If you think about even during slavery time and you get this new name or whatever, but you're like, that's not me. That's not who I am. And so I feel like the plants are like that too. Like, okay, you could call me that. That could be my nickname or whatever, but they have their ancient name that they've been called for thousands and thousands of years. So again, it's just relearning and going back to all of this. So let's see, I want to show, but it's so hard to show on camera, on a webcam, I guess. But I do include the name of the herb. I include the scientific name. And I do have in the back of the book, I have an English to Latin name, and then I have the Latin to English. So if you're not familiar with what the Latin name is, it's also the scientific name it's called. And so each plant has its scientific name. And that's what you would use to make sure that you have the right variety. So there's different varieties of different plants. And so that's how you can differentiate them. But I do have that. So I have the name that the common names as well, because sometimes plants do have those nicknames. So I have that too. And then I have the different names, the African names when they're applicable too. So that's why, there's so much in here, packed in here, and you'll just be going through it and learning so many different things. Also talk about the family of the plants as well. So you can kind of see that families, as families are, they have a lot of similarities too. Back to the roots. Exactly. Back to the roots. So I said I was also going to talk about the herbs that are in here in the reference. It's 100 herbs. I guess I'll go ahead, or it might be a little bit more than 100 herbs. So I also have a section for those who want to use herbs for children, and for those who want to use herbs while they're pregnant or breastfeeding. There is lists in here of the herbs that you can use during those times or for those people, and then also the essential oils that you can use too. So you just want to make sure, and that's why I'm always like, I have the quick reference, but I'd rather you read it in the back with the chapter on it. But that's why you got to be, careful not to just pick herbs off of a list. Okay. So let me just go through the different herbs that I have. Another thing about the book is I broke it down into 4 different sections for the reference. Now, the reason why I did that, some people might think that it makes it a little bit harder, but the reason why I did that is because I always think you should pretty much, it's just like how you walk before you run. So there's different stages or different plants that you should use at different times. So you should definitely start with the ones in your kitchen first, the ones that we use every day, and learn more about those. And the reason why is because no matter where you are, at whoever's house, if you know how to use those herbs in the kitchen, then you'll be able to help them. And so that's why I put so much importance on the kitchen herbs. And I know when people want to learn about herbs, they never want to learn about what thyme can do or what cinnamon can do or whatever, but it's really important. So that's why it's in sections, and there's a kitchen section and it's there first. And I'll tell you, you'll learn about Some of the best herbs are kitchen herbs, especially saffron. Like that's one of my favorite. I'm actually growing saffron, and I hope to be doing more videos soon out in the garden. And I've been really lazy, and I've been working really hard on this book. But now that it's finished, I want to share much more. And so I hope to do that in 2023. But saffron easily becoming one of the top. And actually, saffron is the most expensive herb as well. And it's super easy to grow. And it's one of the ones that you actually plant out now. It's a bulb. So save so much money. Because if I never had saffron before I planted it, because it was just so expensive. I was not paying for some red strings. I was not paying $20 for 3 red strings. I wasn't going to do it. But when you grow your own, you get your money back. But saffron is one of the top herbs. So many different uses. Very antioxidant. And you have to get the book to learn more about it. But definitely do check it out. Let me see. All the herbs. I'm going to go through the kitchen herbs and I'll keep going. Am I looking to be able to do the same thing? What am I? Can you write your question? I'm not sure if I'm reading it wrong or if I'm probably late and delayed, so I don't know. But I'm looking to be able to do the same with one of my spiritual mother. I'm not sure. Maybe you're saying you want to help her with the kitchen herbs. If so, yes, it is a perennial. See, it gets even better. The saving gets better because it comes back every year. It's super easy to grow. Like you just don't. Honestly, I'm such a bad lazy gardener. I put these. I've done this many times. I plant something, do all this work to plant it, and then I forget to water it. And that's exactly what I did. But thank goodness I live in the zone where I do, because we get tons of rain. So I was just out there. I was looking at a totally different plant, and then I just realized, it comes quickly in beautiful flowers so quickly. And it's so shocking because, things grow faster when it's hotter. And then things slow down when it's so cold outside, right? Just like, how our bodies work too. Digestion gets slower and stuff. If you're just eating cold foods as opposed to hot foods, your body wants to get it out fast. So I was so shocked, but it grows so fast as well, like quicker than the summer. I had beautiful, beautiful purple flowers. So it's really beautiful. Would you show us? Yes, I want to do much more videos. I used to do every month. I used to do a tour, and I did a couple this last year, but I want to do better in next year. I really do. I really do. Hashtag winning. So yeah, let's look at the kitchen herbs. This is a section. I had so much fun, and the pictures and stuff. I'm so visual and everything. So there's lots of different pictures and stuff. And I hope that you guys enjoy them. But so the herbs that we talk about in the kitchen, these are all medicinal plants, all spice, and just because even the ones that I don't mention, like all plants have purpose. When people say, is it for anything medicinal? I say really everything, I believe, has more than one function. And if you don't know, it's just because we haven't found out yet. So allspice, almond, aloe, anise. And I put aloe just because that's one that we usually keep in the home. And you put it in places like a kitchen or something because, it's for purifying the air. So that's why aloe is here. And it's a house plant. So that's why I put it here. Anise, artichoke, baking soda, because it does have many uses. Barley, basil, bay, like bay leaves, cabbage, cacao, which is cocoa, like cocoa powder, but sometimes cacao is called. Caraway, cardamom, castor oil as well. That's usually a lot of times, kept in like a little medicine cabinet, whatever. Cayenne, cilantro, cinnamon, coffee has medicinal benefits as well. Clove, cumin, dill, fenugreek, flax. Flax seeds is another one. And I have flax seeds, the seeds to plant it. Makes really beautiful flowers. I haven't grown it yet just because how lazy I am. I don't know that I want to pick a seed one by one. But because of the benefits of flax, and you guys will be amazed. I'm telling you, you'll be amazed when you're reading some of this stuff. Hyssop is in here, yes, but that's in my garden section. Garlic, ginger, grape. So grape leaves have many different functions as well. Honey, Of course, many different uses. Horseradish, lavender, lemon, marjoram, mustard, nutmeg, okra, onion. Okra. Okra has so many different uses for inside and outside of the body. Onion, orange, oregano, parsley, peppercorn. So peppercorns, I'm talking about the black pepper. Potato, pumpkin, saffron, sage, thyme, and turmeric. So that's just in the kitchen. I'm trying to see how many is that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 15. It's probably about a little less than 50, so about like 47. So I do talk about his stuff. So I'm gonna go through each of the sections, but I have them in 4 sections. I have the kitchen. I think you should go in this order. When you're becoming an herbalist, these are the plants that you want to work with, and these are the plants that you want to learn more about in this order, because it just makes sense too. So you want to learn about the kitchen. You cook every day, you eat every day. So learn about the kitchen herbs, then the garden, or your windowsill, or wherever you grow. So these are also the plants that already grow around you too. So the ones that you plant and the ones that you don't plant, learning about those. And then we look at the ones in the forest. So once you have more knowledge, then you're going to go out in the forest and you're going to forage, right? So then we have that section as well. And then we have abroad. So a lot of times when people want to learn herbalism, they want to go for the astragalus, the reishi, or things that are a lot of times imported. And I think that should be last. Like, you need to know what's around you first. And I think that's so important. And we should always go by what's shiny, what's new, what's fancy. We should learn about the other herbs as well, the ones that, and you'll depend on the ones that are around you much more. Like when you start working with people, you'll notice they always ask you, oh, I have this sage, does that do anything? That's more likely. Or we're in a garden, what's this plant? That's much more likely than someone asking you about those other herbs. So I feel like people aren't excited about these plants, dandelion and whatnot, but you should be. So that's what I hope to do also, to encourage you by giving you this order to kind of learn to love the ones around you first too. Okay. Let's see. I invest in a lot more herbs. Feverfew is one. Yes. I actually have a section on feverfew as well. I'm looking to do garden. That's beautiful. Yes, do let me know on your progress, and let me know what you want to grow as well. Yeah, but I do have some videos. I have a playlist on my garden and homestead, it's called, and you can see the tours that I did, just showing you guys everything that was growing in our backyard and whatnot. So yeah, do check that out. So then I have in the garden. Okay, how long? I'm not at an hour. Okay, I'm always excited about plants. Yeah, well that's wonderful, and that's good. And I've seen you grow so much. It's amazing how much you grow too, and you can tell that you really love plants and you're natural with plants. Okay, so in the garden, and my kids, they love this book. You guys probably can't make it out because it's hard to make out on camera. But this is Richard the Rabbit. My children named him Richard the Rabbit, and they love him. So they love seeing like their pictures in here. And there's so many times where I took pictures in the garden and like my daughter is behind me or whatever. And so they see themselves and, or they're like, oh, we were picking that. So it's just a wonderful, I just love that it came together. Just so much like love, family, all of that in it. So I hope that you guys pick that up too. So I do have, let me just show this real quickly. I try to make sure that if you're not familiar with an herb, you should be able to kind of look and say, oh, I probably have this in my garden. And to be able to identify them. Like I want you guys to go out there and start picking the plants. But of course, just be careful that you have the right plant. So in the garden, I have the herbs bilberry. So bilberry is like similar to blueberries. They're not the same, but they are in the same family. There's calendula, there is catnip, there's chamomile, chickweed. So we have plants that you might want to plant, and then ones that you would already have, like chickweed is probably one that you already have, and that is this one right here. The leaves are blown up, but it's a plant with very small leaves, and it likes to grow near water. I actually talked about it in another video. It's one of my favorites, and we have too much of it. That's like takes over my whole garden almost, chickweed, but it's wonderful. It's amazing. It has so many different uses. So yeah, that's definitely one that you'll be happy about growing so much of. I wish I had more dandelions, which I know people will think is weird. I wish I had more dandelions, But my yard is pretty much lots of cleavers, lots of clover, which I didn't get to, and lots of violets. So I talk about cleavers. That's another plant. Talk about comfrey as well, and clover. Dandelion, I talk about echinacea, elder, so like elderberry, elderflower, feverfew, geraniums. That's another plant with African origins. Goldenrod. A lot of people are really interested in goldenrod. Hibiscus, hyssop, holy basil. Talk about hops. Lemon balm, lime flower. So like lime flowers, or they're also called tilias. There's peach. I talk about peach because peach leaf has lots of different uses, and that's one of the more traditional, like African American herbalism plants that we would use in the herbal African American herbalism. Peony. We have peppermint, plantain. We have red raspberry. We have rose, marshmallow, mint, moringa, mullein, nettle, passion flower, spilanthes, which I did a video on, which is also called toothache plant. St. John's wort, white peony. Oh, did I put that twice? I might have put that twice, so I need to change that. Wild violet and yarrow. And then also at the end, I didn't really give like a dedicated section, but I just gave like a little bit of these different herbs. Dead nettle, henbit, self-heal, creeping Charlie, lamb's quarter, and horehound. And so this is what some of those sections look like. Let's see. I got a question. Can it ever be dangerous to mix different herbs? Learning about herbal blends are new to me. I always thought you were supposed to only use one of them at a time. I'm going to be a kitchen herbalist. Oh, well, that's good. Yes. Being a kitchen herbalist is really, I think it's really useful. It's a useful skill to have because, you know, everyone has to eat. And so, I mean, it just makes sense to then use the herbs as food, right? So, it's not dangerous to mix herbs. You just want to make sure that when you're mixing them, that they are going to work synergistically. So they're going to work together in harmony, and that it's going to make sense. I think one of the things that people do is they add too many herbs, where I think 2 and 3 can work really well. So when you're new to mixing herbs, I would say definitely do pairs of herbs. So like 2 different herbs together, or maybe triplets of herbs. So like 3 different herbs together. And actually that's more aligned with how a lot of African herbalists would use plants, usually about 3 or less. So I would say don't go overboard, but just make sure that they're doing the same thing. That's why it's important. I think people, like even the way when I teach about herbs, I teach about the body, and then I teach about the different actions of different herbs, and then I teach about the herbs, because you have to understand the other things first. So you have to understand how the herb is going to work in the body, and then you have to understand what it's going to do before you just put them two together. Like you can say, I want to make a weight loss formula, this does this does that, this does that, but you got to know what they're doing, because sometimes it can be you put 2 things together that would not be good. So like, okay, I can make it confusing, so let me try to break it down or elaborate on it a little bit. So sometimes we put things together because we know that, let's say when you're making a laxative formula, there's some herbs when you have an laxative formula that are pretty much like they're making things happen, and sometimes you can have cramps. And so what they'll do, or what we'll do, is we'll put herbs in there that are going to soothe the stomach, so that way you won't have cramps. So if you've ever taken like a laxative and your stomach was hurting, that's kind of like what could happen if you don't mix in those herbs. Some other times you might do things and they just don't kind of make sense. Like, it's kind of like if you put something that does one thing and you put something that does an opposite thing, then it kind of would nullify it. Like I just talked about. Sometimes that can be good. Like, so now you're not going to have cramping or whatever. But sometimes that could, it wouldn't necessarily be a good thing. Now, I think people are more scared about it being dangerous. Most of the times it just might be that you make a formula that isn't that effective. Like it doesn't work that well. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Saffron and vanilla extract. So expensive. Yeah. No, Dima, there are different nettles. I got some self-heal as well. Oh, our nettle. Oh, stinging nettles. Yeah. Usually when people say nettle, like when I have nettle, there's different varieties of nettle, like she said. And stinging nettle is the one that we use most commonly when it comes to the medicinal plants. So yeah, that's a really good question. And see, that's an instance of why scientific names are important, because when you're looking at that, you can actually see which variety or which species you're talking about. So you can make sure that you're talking about the right one. Okay, so I just got a text, that's what I was reading. Okay, so let me just go ahead and tell you guys what's going to be in the other two sections. I wasn't planning on staying this long. You guys have questions, go ahead and put them so that I'll make sure I get to it. Once I do those two sections, I'm going to let you guys go because it wasn't supposed to be an hour. But I do want to remind you guys of, just if you came in late, you're not sure what book I'm referring to, it's my latest one, and it's actually printed. This is the final copy. This is Herbal Holistic Healing, African Herbalism for Modern Times. So there's a lot of different things in here. I break down the organ system. So if you are joining late, just rewind it. I talked about the different organ systems that I have in here. I named each of them. But we talk about each of the organs and systems because they're really important. Anatomy is really important. And I have diagrams in here, and I break down the functions of them, the common issues that you have. Also, in the beginning of the video, I tell you if you are looking for a certain, for healing for a certain body part, or you have a certain illness, the different ways that you can use this book to find it. So I know that that's a real big one that people are looking for. And then I have a reference. The reference has over 150 plants total that I talk about and tell you, different uses of them, how they work, how to grow them. I do have sections on here about growing herbs and even things like how to cure different herbs. Like I had to stop myself because I was trying to put every single thing in here, but there's so much different information, and maybe I should go down the table of contents so you guys know. I do have 75 new recipes in here. Some of them are really my favorite. I did the chocolate chaga milk. I did a video on that one. That's one of the recipes in here. People really love like turmeric, so I made a vanilla golden milk, and I made it non-dairy as well. So there's so many good recipes in here that I have to share. I don't know. I didn't want to stay too long, but I want to let you guys know what's all in here. If you do check it out on my website, so it's herhealthyhome.co. And I do want to just give a reminder on February 2nd. So it comes out officially February 1st. But if you order from me and you pre-order, you'll get it by February 1st. So that's the one thing. So it's better to get it from Amazon. And also, if you buy the ebook, you can actually download it today. So I always try to give things early to people who come early. But on February 2nd, the price is going up, and I'm going up on the price a significant amount. So go ahead and get it. I wanted to make sure that people who might not be able to afford it can get it earlier if possible. But I don't want to underprice it because, like I said, this book is 514 pages. It's really thick and it's really heavy. The price that you see on my website does include the shipping, but it's I didn't anticipate that it would have to take such a big box also to ship it. So it takes a lot to ship it as well. And then, of course, this is a color book. So 500 pages color, and I do have quite a bit of images, so it is more expensive, but it is definitely worth the investment. And I made this book so you can use it every day, and it's going to replace the need for so many other herb books. And of course, this is African centered, and it's holistic centered, and it's biblical centered as well. And so, yeah, definitely it's one to get. Let's see, I plan on buying the other two books. Oh, okay, awesome. I do have, thank you, that reminds me. I do have bundles of them. You can save a little bit of money if you get the bundles. I have the ebook bundles, and I have paperback bundles. So I tried to put everything, like if you want multiple books, you can just get the bundle. Makes it easier, and it's cheaper. Also, I do have, what's it called? I do have Cash App. So if somebody wanted to Cash App for the price while I'm live, all you would need to do is just Cash App, and you can just put your email address. If you've already purchased from me, then I'd just be able to ship it. If not, then you would just have to email me your address. Okay. Do you have any other self-heal plant recipes in one of your books? No, I have it in Everyday Herbs, but that's it. I only briefly kind of mentioned self-heal. The reason why is self-heal is not one that I've actually been able to forage around me, so I haven't used it. But depending on what you want to use it for, like if you're trying to use it for healing, I do have like a healing ointments. I do have a healing oil as well, my Seal and Heal oil. So there's other herbs that you can actually use similarly to self-heal. So depending on what you're actually looking for, you would be able to find herbs that can do something similar with some of the recipes. And my recipes are always substitute with what you have or with what you want to use. I plan on, is the price going up on your other 2 books? Oh, so every day, the other books I probably will keep the same. So, so Everyday Herbs is $24.99. I don't plan on going up on it. And let's see. Oh, also, I forgot, there's a workbook with it. So I actually made this to go along with my course. So if you want to, like, if you're self-studying, trying to be an herbalist, do get the workbook. The workbook's only $15, but it is going to go up. So, but this one's going to go up to probably to $25. So it's not like a big thing as opposed to this book. I have a hard time charging a higher price because I just know that I get emails all the time with people who say they can't afford. So you can use PayPal and pay like the PayPal credit if you need to, or get it early. That's why it's been 4 months, I think, where I had the price much lower. And so hopefully you guys can get it. The other 2, they're $12.99. And no, I don't plan on going up on them. And these are $8 a piece if you get them on the ebook. And Everyday Herbs is $15 on the ebook. So yeah. And also, if you can't afford like the paperback of this one, like I understand, it's real, it's more expensive. So get the ebook and you'll get it today. So yeah. So anyway, the other chapters, let's see. The garden, I did the garden. So now we're going to do the forest. And I do put a disclaimer in here. When you're harvesting, please don't harvest near roadways. So at least like $15. Yeah, the $12.99. Yeah, I'm not going to go up on the price of those. Well, never say never, but right now, as you're watching this, I'm not going to. But yeah, I don't recommend harvesting near roadways or like places that are like heavy polluted. You don't want to get near stagnant water or whatever, because we know that these herbs suck up minerals and all this different things that we want. It can also soak up some of those pollutants and chemicals and stuff. So you want to make sure that if you're trying to forage in your backyard, I also had on that section, make sure that you haven't sprayed. And if you do, you want to wait about 3 years. So just be careful. There's always things to be mindful of. And just make sure that you can positively identify the plants, right? So you just want to be safe. And also, I do mention, if an herb is new to you, and it's so funny, I did a live stream with Madeline. I know my mind just does different things. I did a live stream with Madeline, and she was saying she read in a book that you should take herbs like baby food, like how you just take one thing, you take it by itself and you notice the results and everything. And she was like, and I think you said that. And I was like, I think I did. And then I was like, I did say that. And it was in Everyday Herbs. So that's one of the ways to use herbs. Just take them one at a time, especially if you know that you're sensitive. Just take a little bit of it and see how you respond to it. Because for some herbs, you don't really have like a high chance of having allergic reactions, but you never know if you're going to be that 1 in 15,000, 1 in 100,000 or whatever. So just be mindful too. Just be mindful that you research the herb properly, make sure that you know how to identify it, and then you try it like that. But of course, that's why you have the reference, so you can read more about it and know the contraindications too. I do list contraindications of who doesn't want to use this, when you don't want to use this. So that's really important too. I really tried to break it down so that you really understand how the herbs work. And it's the only book that you'll need. Like if you could only purchase one book, that you'll have everything that you need in it. So the section on the garden the section on the forest, if you guys are just tuning in, you missed the sections on the kitchen and the garden. So just go rewind and watch it. I know it's long, but it'll tell you everything about the book and how you use it. So there's alfalfa, there's arnica, black cohosh, blessed thistle, birch, burdock, camphor, chaga, coltsfoot, crampbark, elecampane, and ginseng as well. There is American ginseng, and it's over harvested now. It's a little bit getting close to, it's at risk, but you may be able to find it. Go through, we have goldenrod, and I put goldenrod here instead of putting it in the garden, just because I feel like I would probably harvest it more. I don't have it in my garden. So I know it's not as common, but it's a common one. So I put it in the forest. Golden seal, hawthorn, horsetail, juniper, lobelia, milk thistle, motherwort, mugwort, Oregon grape, puncture vine, reishi, sarsaparilla, it's a hard one to say, skullcap, slippery elm, valerian, vervain, wild cherry, wild yam, willow, as in like a white willow is what we usually use in herbalism, a wood betony, wormwood, and then yellow dog. And I did also mention when herbs are low dose, I mentioned it. So like lobelia, I mentioned it. Arnica, I mentioned it. So usually in herbalism, you have like different categories of herbs and their safety. There's usually 3, and I make it 4, and I add one that's more like for the extra category of herbs that you really only want to use in your body. So I mentioned that too. So it's just like I really in here about like safety, telling you all you need to know about these herbs. I also mentioned when the herbs are at risk. So these are plants that if you see them, you might want to just, if you have enough, maybe don't harvest it. If there's a whole lot of them, just don't harvest all of them. And I do mention, I have a section on foraging. So just know, foraging etiquette, and then also respecting plants too. So I do mention all of those. So some of those plants may be at-risk plants, and you want to know that because we want to be able to use these herbs, but we want to make sure that our children and our children's children can use these herbs too. So, we just want to be responsible, make sure what we're doing is sustainable. I would really hate, if for our children, grandchildren, not to be able to find herbs. And it really sucks that we have so many plants that we now can't find because, they've been practically extinct. So I do mention all those different things. When you're going through it, you're like, it's a lot of information I tried to put in here as well. I also put in something that's called the energetics. I don't know if anyone that's watching knows about energetics. But it just pretty much can kind of tell you about how the herbs will kind of work in the body and how it will change the energy of the body. That's a vague way to put it. But, like if you have a hot, let's see, like if you have inflammation or whatever, it may be classified as a condition like of heat or so. Or like if you have a dry, scratchy throat or something, you want to know that is a condition of dryness so that you can use a moistening herb. So I mentioned in here, so I let you know, like if it's something that's a cooling herb, if it's something that's more hot, if it's something that's drying to the body, or if it's something that's moistening to the body, so that you know how to use it. So like a lot of times we'll say this one's good for colds and flu, but there's different ways that colds and flus manifest. So sometimes you may have a dry, scratchy, itchy throat. So that might be a hot and dry condition. I know it might be complicated to understand, but you'll understand it as I explain it in here. So if that is a hot and dry condition, then you would need something cool and moist. You wouldn't need something hot and dry. Like you wouldn't want to take garlic or cayenne at that point. But that's, what people say for cold and flu. So once you read this, you'll learn this to be, to kind of break things down a little bit further and not just say this is for colds and flu. This is for what type of cold and flu, for instance. Okay, so I hope I made that. I hope I made it clear. Sometimes I feel like I make things more difficult, and I try not to say things that might be a little bit too much go over people's head. But hopefully, you guys understand. So true. One at a time. I find that way I'm more mindful, and it links subconsciously, and it will pop up in my head when my body needs or craves it. Yes, and thank you, Carissa, too, for joining. I don't know if I said that. Yes, Carissa, and did you get your package actually too? Do let me know. There's so much to learn. I hold herbalists in very high esteem for their knowledge and wanting to heal. We're just learning what the creator gave to us. And I love George Washington Carver, and I do have a quote of his, and I just want to read it really quickly. And it's right in the beginning, in the prologue. And I respect so much. He talks about his knowledge coming from the creator too. And he said that he prayed to have knowledge of the plants. And then he said that, he was responded with, that's too much for you, little man. And so he said, what about just for the peanuts? And so he credits his knowledge to the creator. And so it's really beautiful. And that's the way that I see it. I prayed also to be able to know and understand. And so He said, reading about nature is fine, but if a person walks in the woods and listens carefully, he can learn more than what is in the books, for they speak with the voice of God. And I think that's so true. Really, we just want to, not just say what herb is good for this. I'm going to go in my garden and just pick it up now. But we want to learn more about the plants. And I find that, like raising children, I learn more about my relationship with my Heavenly Father. And from growing and nurturing plants, then I also learn more about how He nurtures and feeds us, and He takes care of us. So these relationships, even taking care of animals, taking care of the sheep, being the shepherd, like we learn so much about our connection as well. And so that's what I really want to kind of hone in on. Let's get deeper with it. Let's look at more than just the quick fix, the band-aid. Let's really get more connected with nature. Let's get more connected with the Creator. I never heard of, so the term is actually called demulcent, the moistening herbs. Yeah. And so it's just really amazing how the herbs work differently in the body. And they all have certain places in the body that they're just, they excel at, or that they always go. So it's just amazing how the plants work, and just how intelligent the plants are, but just because of, what they got from the Creator. Let's see. Energetics. Yes. And horsetail has so much silica. Yes. It's the highest source in plants. Yes, it is 25%. It is a plant that's wonderful for connective tissue. Yes, it's a connective tissue tonic. Really wonderful. I love to recommend it, for, especially for elders. I love using horsetail. I learned that bamboo tea has even more silica. Okay, awesome. And horsetail is actually a fern, like it grows by spore. So it's a little bit different than our other plants as well, but really interesting. I did get it. You should have seen me. I was like a little kid. I literally praised and danced and was able to pass that energy on to somebody for 2 days. Oh, I'll let her know. Thank you. I'll be looking at your website to get the book. Yes, it's herhealthyhome.co.com. And I'll put it up real quickly. I'm having so much fun, you guys, but I don't want to keep you guys forever. So let me go ahead. I talked about the plants that, so we have the kitchen herbs first, and there's 150 total in 4 sections. So it's about 40 plants in each section. So the kitchen, the garden, we did the forest, and now we'll go ahead and do the abroad section. All right, so the herbs in here, we have Acacia Senegal. That's one of our plants from Africa. We have African plum tree. So people don't know, all of these trees, or all of these, like I said, everything has so many different purposes. I talked about peach a little bit, the peach leaf. So the peach leaf from the peach tree. But this is in the same family with like the wild cherry, which is a cherry tree. And we're looking at the plum tree as well. And so many plants in that family actually come from Africa too. But it's just so amazing of the different benefits that they give, not only just wonderful fruit, but, the leaves or the bark also are wonderful for our bodies too. And then they're wonderful to look at. They give shade, they give shelter. It's just all so wonderful, the Creator. There's African potato, the asafoetida. That's another traditional plant that a lot of our, maybe our grandparents, great-grandparents use. And there's so many different nicknames for that plant. Ashwagandha, that also has African origins as well. Astragalus, baobab, betel, bitter melon, bitter yam, black seed. And when you look at the African traditional plants, there's so many plants with the word bitter in it. You can just go on for days. Black seed, one of the wonderful plants. I know that has gotten popularized a little bit within the last decade. Really wonderful plant, African. Bladder rack, buchu, cancer bush, cassava. We have cat's claw, chase tree. So this is just some of our abroad plants. So in this list, you have African herbs. There's some Chinese herbs like cat's claw. You usually get that from Brazil. So this is more international herbs. Chase tree, which is a lot of people are interested in it a lot more for hormone regulation. And you guys, when you look at, and I almost felt bad, but I just love talking about women's reproductive health. So that's the longest chapter in here. And so if you compare it to the men's reproductive system, I wish theirs could have been, half as long, but I just love, and I really went in on that section, and I really went into like the balancing the hormones and all of that. So Chase Tree is one of the ones that you'll see in there as well. Colocynth, Damiana. There's one plant, and I always hate when they have devil in the name, but that's the most common name that people know it. So the plant is called devil's claw. When I refer to it, I call it grapple plant. And of course, it would have the word devil in it, and it's African origin plant. But that's just, the way it happens when it's history. Don Quai. There's different ways to say that plant. Ephedra, eucalyptus, frankincense, ginseng, ginkgo, himena, hudia, honeybush, colinet, licorice, mundia, which is African ginseng, it's called. Myrrh, neem, we use that in the garden. I just put a lot of things in here. So I have even a section on, natural pest control. I'll talk about neem in there. Claudiarco quassia. Quassia is actually a plant that was named after a former slave. Rubose, sea buckthorn, sea moss, senna, shatavari, tea tree, and uva ursi. So it's lots of different plants. And I mean, it's lots of history too, because, we don't know or don't talk about so many of the Black herbalists that came before us, the plants, and that we contributed so much to. Like someone was talking about vanilla earlier, and most people don't know about, and I have his name in here, but I have it in a section after African herbalism, and I name names and just look up who they are and the legacy that they had, and we don't even know about it. So like vanilla, there was a 12-year-old. He was a 12-year-old slave at the time, and he actually is who discovered how to cultivate the vanilla to be able to hand pollinate it, which is why it's able to be grown in different countries now. And so, but why don't people talk about that? I mean, he was 12 years old, and he's over here making this discovery that changed the world, but nobody talks about him. And he was enslaved at the time, couldn't, you're not able to read and write or whatever. And yet we did so many amazing things. Like I talked about George Washington Carver, the amazing things that he did, especially not even just with the peanuts, but just how he was just such a wonderful man. I have books about him, and I also saw a documentary about him. He was definitely a man of the Most High, and I have so much respect for him and all of them. But he was a slave as well when he was born. So it's just like the things that we were able to do. It's just so wonderful. And so jicama, I didn't talk about that plant. I know that's like a Mexican potato, and they eat it raw. But no, I did not talk about it. Sorry. I did talk about tamarind, which is another plant that one's an African plant, but it is found in like a lot of Hispanic food markets, and it is popular, and they eat it, and tamarind is in there. Right. Yeah. And it's just like, how does he know to do that? It's just in our blood, it's in our genes. So we are going to get a lot of this history back. We're going to get this lost history stolen or just erased, or they wanted us to forget. We're going to get all of that back, and we're going to get empowered about healing and all of that. Before I go, because I'm getting so emotional about it, because it was just I'm just overwhelmed that, just so many people came together to make this project. And I just think that it's just so needed. So I would definitely want all you guys to get it and let me know, what you think and what you get from it. I hope you guys, like the way that, it's outlined and all that. And I forgot to mention, and G Mama, I just remembered there is 2 pages in here where people sent me pictures, and they're in the book, and G Mama is one of them. And I wanted to, for anyone who is in the book, your pictures in the book, I want you guys to definitely have it, right? So just email me, and I can give you a little discount and everything. And I do have, if you have a YouTube channel, I do have your links and everything there, so that everybody can find you. So do support some of the other herbalists, gardeners, and channels that you see on here. On here, I see The Everyday Life of OCD's Chick, Nikki. TT's Urban Pantry, so that's Tia. Lion Crest from Lion Crest Outdoors. That's Your Journey is in here, of course. Lydia, AA Home Gardening. I talked about her before. G Mama's in here. We have Veggie Farm Garden, who's in here as well. The Busy Brown Angel, and This and That with Denise. So I definitely want you guys to get it. So just reach out to me. And I want to do something, give you guys a nice little coupon or something. All right, so I just want to, before I go, I just want to go through what's in the table of contents. I did say it's 4.5 pages just of the table of contents. So I just want to mention the things that might interest people. So I do, again, like in Everyday Herbs, I do mention how to make all of these different recipes on your own. And then I do share recipes as well. So I do have a section on teas. You guys know I love teas and so many different recipes of teas. And so actually, let me share with you guys just some of my tea recipes. But I do break down how you make teas and the formula. And I want you guys to make your own teas. So what I did in the back was I have even a section on how you make your own wellness programs. So it walks you through the steps of, one, making formulas, but then making your own programs or protocols. So that's including what you should be eating, exercise, spiritual things. I even have a little section on here for self-care and all of that, so that, you make a well-rounded, holistic program. So for all the people who ask questions about how do you make recipes, I actually show I'm never want to do or show things one way. So I show my methods, but then I also share other methods that you can make to make your own recipes too. So I do want to mention that. So if you want to make your own recipes, I actually have a section where I walk you through the whole process. So make it easier for you. So here's some of the tea recipes. I have one that's called fruit tea. And so this one is made with bilberry. It has goji berries in here and sustander berries in here. I have my morning cup of cola, which I think you guys will really like. That is with a plant cola nut, and that's from Africa. And instead of using, the cacao, you can try and use a little cola. And it's used, for energy and everything like that. You can check it out. It's a really nice recipe. I really like it. I have the chocolate chaga milk again. I have some simple teas as well, because sometimes if you don't have that many herbs, you can come up with, use some of my more simple recipes. So I have one that's called Rose Gold, and it's with roses. I have Purple Dreams as well. I have some sleep teas. I know people always just want to know, how they can get some more rest. I have another one. It's called the Midnight Mugwort Blend, and that's for those who have a hard time sleeping as well. I also have some more solar teas. So I have a fresh chamomile tea. So just with chamomiles, how you just take some fresh chamomiles and you do it, how you make a sun tea with it. Strawbiscus Bliss. Carissa, try that one and give me a good review on that. That actually, I would say, is my favorite sun tea now. Every time I just keep making recipes, I love them more. I love those cold tea, Kool-Aid, replace all your juice, replace all your Kool-Aid, all of those artificial sweeteners and colors and stuff, and make it fresh. So I have a raspberry Kool-Aid too. So Carissa, you'll like that one. With fresh raspberries and raspberry leaf in there. It's really delicious. Let me try to see some of my other. I have herb infused honeys again, but I actually shared different recipes for the honeys this time, and I made them 2 ingredients. So you can probably, if you have herbs, you can probably make one of these. So lavender rose. So you just need lavender and rose. Ginger chamomile. You need ginger and chamomile. Or orange hibiscus. So they're just 2 ingredients. Really super simple to make, but really delicious. I have some more oxymels in here as well. One with burdock and one with jalapenos and elderberries. Really good to try it. I have a healthy heart syrup in here as well. So syrups, you can just take them, every day you should take your elderberry syrup. But if you want to take something for the heart as well. Oh, thank you. I really love that tea too. Let's see. I have one oil, and I called it Grown Folks Business. I can't even say it because it's just so funny that I named it this. And I talk a little bit about it. It's called Grown Folks Business. And I talk about, and you guys probably around the same age. And when you grew up, they tell you to get out the room. It's grown folks business. And so that's why I named it. So you can infer what grown folk business might be about. But It's a great oil. It's really nice. And it kind of goes back to our roots a little bit in it. So you should definitely check it out. Have a calendula infused oil, how to make an elderflower infused oil. So I do have simple recipes in there if you just have one herb as well. I have a mouthwash in here, a toothache mouthwash. I have herbal steams again. I do have a woodsy one. So with eucalyptus, cedar tips, and rosemary. I have a lavender spray. So just if you want to make a regular lavender spray. And I also put a section on vaginal steams because I know a lot more people are using, the V steams lately. So I have 3 different ones of those as well. I have a bath soak, Epsom lavender, Epsom salt. I have a mojito mint sea salt scrub. So I have all different things. I teach you how to make a sleep pillow as well. So if you have issues with sleep, you got the sleep pillow, you got the sleep teas, you also have the different herbs that you can use. And I also have another recipe that I actually like to use for sleep. My problem with going to sleep is I can't turn my brain off. So there's a recipe in there for that. And it's my gentle relaxation. It's an extract. And I actually made it though, because somebody, they didn't want to use ADHD medications on their child. And so they had wanted me to make an extract that's just, more relaxing, but of course not going to make them go to sleep because they got to pay attention in school. So that's how it actually got made. So you'll see really nice recipes and really good stories about it. Thank you. You shouldn't believe how the teas taste like. Thank you. I like that name. I want to replace my Kool-Aid. Yes. So definitely. And Everyday Herbs has a lot of those too. I have my Hawthorn fruit punch in there. And that was all of them are really good. And then I have my pomegranate goji tonic. That was my favorite from Everyday Herbs, my favorite recipe out of everything. And then what's the other one I had? Oh, I had a blueberry cold brew. So we're using fresh berries, and I encourage you to switch it up. So with the seasons change, use whatever you have on hand, whatever fresh berries you have. So maybe if you don't have fresh blueberries, use fresh raspberries, use fresh, strawberries, use them. But now I try to make enough recipes so I have one for every single fruit that you have of the berries. So yeah, so definitely you guys will enjoy it. And I have another really nice, it's an orange ylang massage oil, really nice. So yeah, it's really good. I really tried to put some things that you guys would like, of course. Talk about saving seeds. So purchasing seeds. People always want to know where to purchase seeds, where to purchase oils. Put that in there. You learn about. So let me just go. I'm always on a tangent. Let me just go and do what I said I was going to do and go through the reference so you guys will know. I'm on the website and I don't see the digital option for the book. So you can actually once you go to books, it depends on if you're on the website on the mobile, but we have a section that is just for ebooks. So, and I wish I knew, it might be but yeah, I have to find the link. But are you at herhealthyhome.co/books? Yeah, there is one. You should say ebook on the front or on the very beginning of the title. But yeah, there is an ebook option, and I may just have to try to make it to link. Actually, look at my description. The description of this video. I'll go ahead and add a link. But in the description of this video, I actually have the link just to ebook. But actually, now that you said that, I don't have the one for my website. I have it for Amazon. So let me do that. And if you guys have any more questions, because I am going to let you go this time, because I do have to go. My mom is watching my kids, and I don't want to have her worn out. So I will go after I finish reading the table of contents, and I'll take the last question. So if you have any, you want to know, is something in the book, is an herb in the book, or do I talk about XYZ in the book? Shoot me a question right now. Just write it in the chat. And for those who are watching, if you have a question, go ahead. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and write it in the comments too, and I'll answer your question. If you go on the website, you can actually see pages of the index. You can see pages inside the book, so you can get an idea of what it actually looks like. And I also show you the different herbs in there. I show you each of those, I just did the kitchen, garden, forest, abroad. I have those pictures there, so you can make it out. You can see the different herbs on there. Let me go to mine. And I apologize for everyone who's watching, but thank you guys for bearing with me. All right, so table of contents, paperback. I see the paperback. Where is the ebook? If anybody wants a link to any of the books that I mentioned, do let me know too. While I'm doing it, I might as well go ahead and do it all. Do let me know too. Oh, I see. Yeah, I see. It doesn't say ebook. Okay. So thank you for letting me know. I thank you guys for all of your support, whether it's just liking the videos, whether it's showing up, whether it's kind words, because sometimes I'm telling you, I'm just running on kind words and smiles and all of that. It's just all of it. It means so much. You said 12-year-old. Wow. Yeah. He was 12 years old. I think you might be behind in the chat, Stacy. So if you are, you got to fast forward. I think you might be behind. But yeah, he was 12 years old. Something for migraines. Yes, I definitely talk about migraines. So what you want to do is you can look in the back, actually in the index, and you can go to all the pages that have migraines. Or you can go to the herbs for the nervous system. And so you will look at the causes of headaches and migraines and some of the herbs that you can use, and also some of the deficiencies that you might have, because there's a lot of different deficiencies that are due to or that lead to migraine. So yeah, definitely check that out. An herbalist doctor. I actually don't. Most that I would know would just either be one or the other, but that would be great if we had more doctors that know about herbalism. So yeah, if you get the paperback, will you have access to the ebook, or are they separate? They are separate, but just send me an email and let me know I got the paperback, I want to get the ebook, and I'll give you just a little coupon or something if you want to get both. Because I definitely understand, like sometimes, or you want to have it right away, or sometimes I might want to just look on a tablet at something instead of having the book as well. Send a link. Oh yeah, so I did put the link for the ebook in here. If you guys want another link, do let me know. Do you have anything in there for mental health? Yeah. You can search in the back for depression as well. Yeah, there's different herbs and there's different, different levels. So depending on whether it's just mild depression or, whether you need something stronger. Yeah, we do have that in there. That's in the nervous system too. I read that one. I'm sending you some energy. Thank you. I have to head out. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Adrienne, for joining. And I hope you have a great day and a blessed Shabbat. So yeah, so I did send the ebook. I'll just put this again if someone missed it. And then I'll put the link for the paperback too while I'm at it. Holistic healing. Here's the paperback. Now, you know what? I'll also put the workbook if you guys want. And the workbook. So let's say I should have put that was a paperback. Sorry, I'll put that was a paperback. So let's say you want to get the ebook because it's cheaper, and I understand that. And maybe you want to get the workbook. The workbook is $15. So at least you can still kind of go through it and physically write stuff down as well as you're going through it. And the workbook does have sections for you to, put your own notes and all that, which could be interesting, which can be good too. Because I'm a person, I don't like to write in books. So if you're like me, then it also gives you some place to write. And I do have bundles. Someone had asked about the bundles before. And I do have, but just check out my book section. And you can actually, like if you're on the computer or if you're on a desktop, it's a little bit easier. You can see my ebooks. I break it down into paperbacks, ebooks, and then I also have bundles, a section for bundles of the book bundles as well. And I have ebook bundles and I have paperback bundles. All right, so let's go through this is just some of the chapters. I'm not going to say my prologue, things like that. But I'm just going to say the ones that you guys probably are most interested in. I do talk about the different parts of the plants, which is really important. And because that can change also how you're using them. Talk about the kitchen remedy. So I do have a section talking about the different kitchen herbs you want to use. Then I talk about the pantry essentials. So these are the things, like if you say, I want to become an herbalist, I want to start making herbal remedies. These are the things that I say are, necessary to have. And these are the things that you might want to have. And they're maybe luxuries. So if you want to know how to stock your kitchen and everything like that, that's in there too. I talk about, of course, African African herbalism, and I break it down, the different foundational elements of it, and explain it. I break down the organs. I have a quick reference. So I showed that earlier, but it's basically just one page. So I'll just show you guys an example. It's basically one page per organ system. The reason why I did this is because if you're looking through this book quickly, then you can just go to the page and you're like, I forgot what are diuretic herbs or whatever. You can just go to it quickly and find things quickly. And let me find that one. Okay, so here's an example. So this one is herbs for the stomach, and the other one is herbs for the thyroid. Somebody asked me about the thyroid. So this is just a quick one. We do have chapters on each of these that break it down more. But this is just a quick one. So it tells you what the organ is, functions of the organs, where it is, and the best herbs. It tells you the best, the actions, and then it breaks down the different herbs for the different systems. All right, so that's just the quick reference. I talked about the other ways that you can find if you're looking for something specific, like they will talk about depression, migraines. You can look for those in the index in the back. The index is 5 pages too. So I tried to put, eczema, asthma, those things that you guys might be interested in. Make sure I put those in the back, but those are mentioned in here as well. Then I have the herbal energetics. So if you are interested in learning about the herbal energetics, I explain them. And then I also have a list, and I list over 100 herbs as well. So you can quick reference if you're like, okay, I need an herb that's cool and moist or whatever, like I talked about earlier. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, just rewind it a little bit. But if you're looking for something quick like that, you can actually go through it. I have all the cool in one section, all the hot, all the dry, all the whatever. So I have all of that, all the warm as well, because some herbs are in the middle. Some are neutral. I have all of that in there for you. I wanted to make this easy for you so you can just reference it. I also have the starting your apothecary, it's a section. So I talk about sourcing your herbs. Where do you want to get them? Talk about how you dry them and store them. Really important. Talk about how you organize your apothecary as well. I think I list 7 or 9 different ways you can organize your apothecary as well. And I talk about some of the pros and cons of it. And then the ready to use remedies. So if you're saying, what are the things that I need to have in my house right now to have on hand? Those are the ready to use remedies. I have that. And I also have that goes along with it. I have an herbal first aid kit. So these I give you, frostbite, insect bite. These are the things that you would want to have in your first aid kit. And then of course you can use the book to make all of these things as well. Then I talk about all the herbal preparations. I tell you how to make them. And then I do have some recipes in most of these sections. So teas, making your own sun teas, tinctures, extracts, herb infused honey, oxymel, syrup, herb butter, sea moss gel. And I actually listed every single recipe in here. So if you guys are saying what tea recipes that she had, you want to see the actual names of the recipes, I actually listed them on the website as well. And I listed every single herb that's in here too. So if you wanted to know, you don't want to watch the whole video or go back, then just check in the description. I try to put everything in there so you guys will know what you're getting. How to make your own powders and capsules. And I do have recipes throughout the book as well. So I have it in these sections. And then I have individual for each section, like herbs for the nervous system. I have different recipes that you guys can use. Herbs for the heart in that section, or for the cardiovascular system, sorry. And I have different things that you can use, different tinctures, teas, all of that. So you read about it, you learn about it, you see these herbs, and you can see different recipes that you can make. Salve, I make a sleep pillow, how to make a sleep pillow. I talk about herbal steams, including vaginal steams as well. Mouthwash, soaks and scrubs, chest rub, ointment, massage oil, liniment, douche, how you make douches, compress, poultice. I have a section about the garden, how to grow, which will be very, very short because I don't do all the things. I talk about children in the garden, some activities that you can do, purchasing seeds, where you should purchase, what you should know about purchasing, how to save your own seeds, organic pest control, really important. Because we're having an organic garden, but you don't want to be using the store-bought chemicals. What you can do, how to make your own, how to pruning, what you need to know about pruning, when to harvest, how to know when to harvest is really important. Curing. So let's say you have things like potatoes or onions, garlic. How do you actually cure these? So I tell you, this is the temperature that you're supposed to do, how long, and all of that. I tried to put everything in here, and I talk a little bit about water bath canning and pressure canning, just a little bit, but I kind of explain it like these, the temperatures, what water bath, what you water bath, what you pressure can, things like that, how to store the jars once you can and preserve. I have a section on foraging, and that's where you'll find the herbal first aid. And then you'll also find a section about sustainability. I have a section about essential oils, how you dilute them, and what's the dilution for children, what's the dilution for pregnant women, what's the dilution for elderly people, what's the dilution for your body. I have all of that in there, and I explain some of the terminology too. That's another thing. I do have a dictionary in the back. I have a dictionary of all the actions as well for the herbs. And another thing that I did, I wanted to make it really easy for you. Some people have said, like, I want a diuretic, or I want like a pain, like something for pain or whatever. I have a section in the back where you can search by the action, and you will find the herbs that have that action. So you're saying, I want a diuretic. You have a list of diuretics also in the back. So I really want to make it really easy and simple, so you have so many different ways to find the information. And I also have a section that you can search by the illness. That's the last way I really want you to look for it, because I really want you to get the education and stuff first. But I have it there because, you might not know or how to find it in another way. You might not know what a diuretic is. So I do have by the illness. I do have some things that you can find in there as well. And then what I did was I tell you all the places that you can find in, like, okay. See, I'm making it longer again. So let's say you're looking up hypertension, right? So when you're looking up hypertension, I give you all the sections that you want to look at. So herbs for the cardiovascular system. I tell you the types of herbs that you want to look at. So you would be looking at hypotensive herbs. You might be looking at cardiac tonics and all that. So I list all of these different terms. So you can actually go and look at all these different terms in that reference that I have on the terminology and find it that way. Then I list some herbs down there as well. So I really try to make it so, like, literally, you're becoming your own herbalist. You're becoming your own doctor as well, for yourself and for your family. Based on what's going on, you can find it somewhere in this book. So hopefully it makes it easy for you guys to find it. I have a section in here. So I have an herb journal. That's another thing that I sell, and I don't have it here. But you can actually have 75 different herbs in there and pages for you to go and write your information and everything. But what I did in this book, for those who don't have the money to purchase my journal, and I even say it on here, you can print those 2 pages and start using them for your herbs. So you can just print it multiple times if you need to, if you're not able to get the journal. So I have that in there, and I explain what all the sections are that you're going to fill out for each herb. And I'm going to show you guys what it looks like real quick. But it's just basically, if you're not able to get my herb journal, now you're going to make your own herb journal, because you're going to just print it. So this is what it looks like. If you guys can see, this is a profile that you would fill out on an herb, and it's 2-sided. So it's a front and it's a back. You can write a recipe in here on this back. You can actually put a picture of it or draw a picture of it as well. But in my herb journal, you have pictures of the herbs and you have their name and Latin name, but you're just going to fill this out. And so you have this, you can't see, but there's words on there. So it's telling you what to put where. Another thing, I have the dosage guidelines. So if you want to know, how much do I take of a tea? How much do I take of a tincture? So we have the dosage guidelines here. And I talked about it earlier, but I have a list of herbs for children, a list of herbs for pregnant or breastfeeding women, and then I have the list of essential oils that you use for both, okay? I also have a section about recommended reading. So all the books that I've recommended to you guys that I really like, I have a section for those. Then I have the herbal reference, and the herbal reference is pretty long as well. It's over 100 pages just of me talking about each of these different herbs. And all of the herbs have a picture, they have a picture next to them. They have information about them, the scientific name and all of that. So you can find it. Trying to give you guys, so this is the section about all of the body systems, the organs. So herbs for the cardiovascular system, that'd be for the heart, the veins, all of that. Then we have herbs for the nervous system. So the nerves, the brain, spinal cord, musculoskeletal. So that's the muscles and the bones. Herbs for the respiratory system. So that's like, our lungs and everything for us to breathe. Herbs for the liver, gallbladder, herbs for the urinary system. So that'd be the bladder. Herbs for the kidneys, herbs for the men's reproductive system, penis, all of that. Women's reproductive system, uterus, all of that. Herbs for the stomach, pancreas, spleen, colon, endocrine system. That's like with our hormones. It also has to do with the adrenals, etc. We have herbs for the thyroid, and we have herbs for the lymphatic system as well. So, like if you ever had swollen lymph nodes, you would want to look at the lymphatic system. Herbs for the skin as well. So that's for inside what you want to take and outside of the skin, and virus proofing your health. So herbs for the immune system. Then I have the herbs listed by the action. That's what I explained earlier. So diuretic, if you're looking for a diuretic, if you're looking for an alternative herb, if you're looking for adaptogens, you just go to that section. You would go through in alphabetical order and you would find what the action is, and you find the list of herbs there. Herbs by the illness. So by an illness, if you're looking up asthma or whatever, it tells you where you can look in the book for more information and some herbs. I also teach you how to build your own recipes. I have a section even of mock formulas so you can see what they look like. And I teach you how to make recipes, and then how you make your wellness programs, which is, now I'm going to take this tea, I'm going to do it this much, you eat these foods, all those. And for people, I also have a section for detoxing as well. It's called my elimination system. So if you want to do like a detox, people are always interested in detoxes. We do have a section on that. I do have a section on self-care as well. It's a little bit short. It's only 3 pages, but it's how you can look at self-care for the physical, mental, and spiritual. I also have a little short section of definitions of like biological terms, or like for biology. So if you want to know what veins actually mean, things like that, you can find that as well. Then I have a section of herbal terminology. So it goes through all of those different terms as well. But I explain them also different parts of the book as well. So you'll be able to find it. Then I have daily nutritional guidelines. So that's what you want to eat, like the amount of vitamins and minerals that you need each day. And then I have sections on, like, let's say calcium. And then I tell you different herbs and how much percentage that you get, from 1 cup or so, such and such. So some of the herb and food choices that you have to get some of these vitamins and minerals. And then I have a conversions chart. So let's say for those who may be in the UK, you want to convert to grams, from tables, from cups or whatever to grams. I have a conversion chart for tablespoons, teaspoons, all of those things. Then I have the English to Latin. So like I talked about, each herb has their scientific name. So I have a reference in there. So you can go from English to the Latin name or the scientific name, or you can do it the opposite way. If you have a Latin name in a book and you're trying to figure it out, I have it as well in here. I have a list of some suppliers of herbs and seeds that I recommend. Then I have my sources, of course, and then I have some resources. So some other things that you might want to look up and look into, whatever. Then I have the index as well. So I'm just like, I just talked a lot. But you guys, there's so much in here, and pretty much anything that you can think of, I put it in here. Some things I didn't mention, like if you want to know about the hormones, I talk about the hormones a lot. A lot of people are interested in that. I do talk about estrogen, progesterone. I talk about testosterone, but those are in specific categories. So like the estrogen and progesterone are in the woman's reproductive system. I talk about the functions of them. I talk about what happens if you have too much, like some of the symptoms that you can have from too much estrogen or too much progesterone. And I talk about the natural sources of them. So I really put a lot in here. So definitely you guys are going to enjoy it. Do I have any more questions? I'll take like 2 minutes of questions, and I'm just going to read these comments. Entire book sounds like self-care. Oh, thank you. It really was a self-care for me. Like I talked about, I was crying sometimes writing things. Like it was getting really emotional, or things in life was really was what I was really writing about, and writing it as if I'm writing, to family, to friends, because that's what it is. So it definitely has that vibe as well. I don't know if I missed anything. I was looking up herbs and you came up on my computer. Oh, well, thank you, Christy. This sounds amazing. Thank you, Kim Chem M Nutrition. Thank you for joining. Shalom and welcome. Are leaves always best, or some bag teas for herbs just as effective? Oh, okay. I actually talk about that in why you should use leaf teas, loose teas. I do recommend that you use loose teas. The bag teas have chemicals in them, so they have like glues in them, and they may have like bleach in them. And so when you want to get medicinal benefits out of herbs, you want to make sure that you're using the herbs that are the most potent, and you don't want to add any extra chemicals. So you want to make sure that you get the right herbs, and then you prepare them properly. So I do recommend, and sometimes it can be cheaper. If you have an herb that you really like and you use it all the time, those tea bags have like 1 teaspoon in it. Most of the time when I'm making teas, like if I'm making hibiscus, chamomile, I need more than 1 teaspoon. And so you might be using 2 tea bags. And if you do, you need to just be buying the herb fresh. And when you can have it, when you have powdered herbs as well, they have less nutrients. And a lot of times when you're buying it in a box, it's old. And so the freshest possible, and then the most whole as well. So, like you may notice a difference if you crack your own black pepper over your food versus the shaken. It's the same thing. The whole form is better than the powdered as well. So yeah, but I talk about that in my tea section, my TEA section, a little bit more. And so I definitely do advocate for getting your own loose herbs. That's a good question, Christine. Thank you for asking. Oh no, I'm sorry. That was Stacy's question. Thank you for asking. Sounds very well thought out. Thank you. I tried to, and because I had so long to work on it, I kept adding, and thinking of, and the questions you guys asked me, I wanted to make sure I could say, it's in there, it's in there, it's in there. I'm making some tea right now, celebrating your book. Thank you. I'll join you and stew some moringa. Yes, I do have a section on moringa, and moringa is in some of my recipes as well. I have a taste of Africa. That is one of my teas, and moringa is in it. Look no further. She is it. Thank you. Thank you. Which book are the oxymels in? Not sure. Yes, you spelled it right. I have it in Everyday Herbs. I have I think it's 3 oxymels. Yes, I have 3 oxymels in Everyday Herbs. This is my oxymels page. It has my dandymel, which is with dandelion. I have a hawthorn berry one, so I called it my berry mel. And then I have one that is with nettles, and it's my nourishing nettle mel. So I have 3 in there. And then I have 2 more in this book, Herbal Holistic Healing. I have my jalapeno elderberry one. It's called jalapeno berry oxymel. And then I have one with, what is it with? I'm trying to remember. Try to keep all my recipes in my head. But yes, it's in my oxymel section. And do you guys see like how big this is? So that's why I wanted to put things in multiple places. So no matter where you flip your book, you're going to find your answer that you're looking for. Where's my oxymel page? Need to go a little bit further deeper in here. I'm going too quickly. Okay, I'm about to find it. But yeah, good question. Do I have any more questions? I also, in my section about herb infused oils, what I did is I broke down the different oils, 3 different oils I looked at, and I explained why you might want to use them and some of the benefits of using them. For the face, I did 3, and then for the body, I did 3. So if you're making your herb infused oils, you want to make one for the face, you might want to use these carrier oils. And then I have some carrier oils for the body as well. And see, look, I'm already getting sidetracked. And one thing that I did with the infused oils is I tell you multiple ways to make it. I tell you about the Folk method. I teach you about the alcohol intermediary method. Teach you how to make it with a double boiler as well. So yeah, definitely check it out. And I actually just released something new that's really cool. And you get these recipes and how to make them and all this information about them. And I have them on laminated cards. So they're easy reference cards because you don't want to get the book dirty, but you want to make the recipes. And this one will sit open, but other books like Everyday Herbs, they don't actually sit open. So if you actually want to look at making some recipes and have the recipe cards, I also have that too. And that's in my book section. But okay, I have my burdock mel, the other ones with burdock. All right. Yeah, but oxymels are delicious. I love them. I love to use them in salad dressing, and you can just take it daily as well. for medicinal benefits, and it tastes really good. Oxymels are made with herbs, vinegar, and honey, and you can kind of change up the ratio depending on if you want more honey or less, but they're really delicious and versatile. Okay, I think that's it. I just switched to the loose leaf tea this year, and you probably can taste the difference. I'm enjoying you getting sidetracked. Should we collectively say a prayer? Yes. Say a prayer for my mom. Yes, definitely. Yes. But okay, I'm gonna let you guys go. I don't have any more questions. But if you do have questions, you can email me. My email is actually on my about section. But if you're on my website, herhealthyhome.co, I actually have a live chat on there. But you can also, thank you. Oh, that really just touches my heart. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I'm so grateful for you. And you've been in the community for so long. And I honestly, when I'm praying for the community, there's so many different people that I see all the time, and you come up first in my mind. And I love you all so much. I know that people, you hear it all the time, and when you're hearing it, it doesn't mean anything, but I really do love each and every one of you. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Thank you guys for spending so much time with me, but you guys got to go and finish with your Shabbat prep and get ready for tonight for your relaxation. So I'm gonna let you guys go, and I hope that you are well, you're blessed and abundant. Okay, 2023 is really gonna be good, and this February is really gonna be good. I mean, Black History Month is all year, right? But I'm really trying to make this February really special with the release of this book. But also, I have 2 books that I just recently reviewed that have to do with Black history and everything. And I'm going to be putting those out in February. February is really going to be really good, you guys. I have a lot of stuff up for you guys coming soon, but I got to go. I know you got to go.